millenniums of stars, and one shining night and day, shining from the east, a star strangely fixed apart from all others, one star with a movement toward a town, toward a child, one star framed in the word Noel. One star attracting the imagination and hope of an earth of men. Shepherds, cold at night, standing in starlight and angel light. Wise men looking, asking, finding a little king in the starlight of Noel. One star over a town where God gave his gift. A gift wrapped in love and straw and starlight. One star, attracting the imagination and hope and thanks of an earth of men. There is a mourning on your earth, for man's existence is captivated by the designer of evil. There is a mourning on your earth, God, because man finds his past, present, future, and timeless future in doubt, at least wonder. Then, in the presence of the mourning comes hope. Hope in a name, Emmanuel. Hope spoken as fact about one whose time is timeless eternity, but who enters time for a purpose in the advent of birth, the purpose of cheering by dissolving gloom, by illuminating the shadows of death. And man rejoices once and again. Emmanuel has come to open the doors of heaven and close the path of misery. The earth was quiet. That moment the angels sang. The hour was midnight. The song was old but glorious, because angels sang it in the moment they came near the earth to touch harps and sing a song. Their song was of peace, peace to cover the earth, of goodwill to change the hearts of men. There is no end to the song the angels sang. It only ceases for a man who ceases to listen. But the song is always there, above the mingling tongues of nations and ideas. The song remains in spite of hate and pain and death. But if there could be one moment of silence in a life, one moment of silence to hear the song of peace through the manger boy, the heart of man could change from man tired, lonely, twisted by the churning hours of life to man rested, quiet, hopeful. Divinity and humanity touched in a manger. when God became man, to live as one and die as one. Divinity and humanity, cradled in a humility, portraying the dimension of God's reach for man as a person lost. What child is this, sleeping, held by Mary, receiving gifts from wise men, receiving in this moment of time praises and songs and lives from men? What child is this? His birth is known. His name is known. But those who know him best know his death and the life in that death. Silent night, but full of light and wonders. All is silent, holy, calm, bright, around him, and a mother untouched by man. The baby sleeps in a calm inspired by heaven for the holy. And man, alone with animals, is suddenly shaken by the company of angels who announce, so there can be no mistake, Christ the Savior is born. And man describes the sun as light, and the light as pure, emanating from love, a love for all men, each one, a love that cannot be contained, only refused. With the coming of his face came a dawning, a shifting from promise to reality. The dawning is a gift, wrapped then in cradle cloths, later to be wrapped in sin, all of man's sin. But for now, there is silence on a silent night. A town may become the meeting place of prophecy and fulfillment. The town has little to do with the event except that it exists to be used. It is God who molds events and moments to meet in the climax of divine promise. And quietly, moving through the streets of the town, darkened and stilled by night, moves a light, an everlasting light. A light to illumine fear with hope. The light comes in birth, Jesus' birth. A birth which dawns to man's eyes the Son of God and the Son of Man. And the pain of birth is sweet to Mary, under the care of God and angels, while the world sleeps. To each sleeping heart the light will come, to stand and be seen and felt. And if the heart is drawn to the light in faith, the heart will receive the light, the eternal light. The angels do not often sing to man, but once they sang, and the song was a message that resolves the meaning of time. Man in time, meeting God in time, The angels came with a message they could only tell. Another would have to prove it. Prove his title, Christ. Prove his title, King. He started where the prophets left off. He was formed by God in woman without man. Formed by God to be God and man at once. To live with man for a time. Born in Bethlehem, born Christ. To be proved by his words and more by his death. And more by his resurrection. Through his name, through proving his name is life, man may receive his life. Life that never really dies. Life that rebears a man in God for life eternal. There is a joy surrounding the earth. A joy not realized once and then only remembered. There is an atmosphere of joy which materializes for each generation. Shepherds on a hillside, wise men by a cradle, men in a church, men alone in cars and planes and hospitals. The atmosphere of joy affects everything it encircles and becomes. Joy, drafted and created by one who created all things, and all beings who can be embraced by the joy. This joy is of eternal structure, encompassing and surpassing all other joys. Its framework is truth. Its decor is grace. Its reality is a person called Lord. Lord of manger, of cross, of tomb, of heaven, of heart. It was a moment of ease and quiet. It was a moment when common men were doing a common task with sheep. A moment when men looked at stars in heaven, that angels came down from God to say something to man. But man was not ready to hear. There was fear. But one angel wiped away the fear and made room for joy. There was a king in David's town, not in David's robes, not in David's palace, not on David's throne, but where animals ate and slept. There slept God, in strange combination with man, born to save. For this one, they waited and hoped. And if a man can listen to angels and find in his heart belief, he becomes not only a hearer of their song, but may hold its truth for himself. Is it possible men of today may hear the angel's song given in concert for a band of shepherds? A song meant for their ears, their moment of confrontation with the fulfilled promise of God. To the listening man, quietly waiting in the presence of God, the angel's song is heard, and it calls a man to his knees before the manger boy. It calls a man to more than hearing their song. It calls a man to believe something about the inspiration of the song, to believe something about him in the manger, the one called Savior.